Well, Rolling Stone sent me another magazine, and this one contains an article called Apocalypse in the Gulf and How BP is Making It Worse. I got through about 3/4 of the article so far, but I just wanted to talk about it from now. I don't want to talk specifically about the BP oil disaster because everybody knows that that shit just sucks. And it's pretty well understood that that shit sucks. What I wanted to talk about is the idea of social justice networks and groups and self-congratulatory crap. So while I was in Kentucky in 2008, 2009, I was talking to my friend Mitch Barrett, who you can see videos of here, here, and here. He talked about a song that he wants to really write about mountaintop removal, which is this really, really widespread thing that's happening in Kentucky in order to get the coal. Basically, the coal companies are wiping off the top of the mountains and just digging down and destroying all kinds of landscape. There's a lot of video on YouTube and various other places where you can find stuff about this, and it's pretty devastating and pretty terrible, but it's very rarely talked about. That is, unless, of course, you live in the area where mountaintop removal is such a big deal. Because these people live in these areas where mountaintop removal is this huge thing, they get together in groups and they talk about what to do about mountaintop removal. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that talking about bad problems and figuring out ways to combat evil is a bad thing. Not at all. Don't think that at all. What I am saying, and what Mitch Barrett was trying to express to me when he was talking about writing his song, is it's really hard to talk about those things because it feels like we're just patting ourselves on the back and telling ourselves that we're getting somewhere. The reason the Rolling Stone article applies to this is because it talks about how environmentalist groups are talking and really trying to do something for change, but are meeting a lot of resistance from the top down. Back in 2001 or 2002, I was involved in a group in college that was highly against the Iraq War, and we met every week and we had these big rallies and we thought we were really making a difference. The same is true in Kentucky. I rallied against the mountaintop removal. The same is true for a lot of protests that I've been involved in. I went to Washington, D.C. in 2004 in January to do the March for Life against abortion. But the point is, no matter how many protests, no matter how many things that I've gone to, no matter how many potlucks and fundraisers I've attended, not one of those issues has been resolved. Not only have they not been resolved, they've not moved in any direction whatsoever. They've not moved in a more evil direction. They've not moved in a more positive direction. They've stayed exactly where they were when I was protesting. With the exception of the Iraq War, which I was protesting before it started, and now it's already been started. I don't know what this means. I don't know what to do about all this. The fact of the matter is that the world sucks, and we should be standing up for things that don't suck, and we should be ending world suck, and we should be doing things like with the Harry Potter Alliance and with these other organizations that are really changing the world and doing great things. But it's really tough when every time we talk about stuff, we just think we're making a huge difference, and it turns out we're really not. I think ultimately what makes it really hard to talk about these things is that they're so wrapped up in our emotions as well as real world situations. So they're all up in here and all up in here and out there as well, that it's really tough to wrap our minds around it and really get involved in a non-partisan, non-emotional sort of objective sense. It's always about the subjective at that point. It's always about, how I feel about things, and that doesn't necessarily solve problems. When we get pissed off or we get sad or we cry about stuff and we're just outraged and want something to go do and pick up our pitchforks, doesn't necessarily change things. What we need is real objectivity. And articles like the one in the most recent Rolling Stone about the BP disaster don't provide objectivity. All they do is provide fuel for the fire. I don't know where this video is going. I'm just outraged at all the crap that's going on in the world, and I needed to talk about it a little bit, so maybe we can have a discussion down in the comments, because everybody knows that's where the party's at. See you guys down there.